Less than a day following the injunction hearing, the next step for the potential removal of Corpus Christi Mayor Paulette Guajardo. What we can expect from City Council later today. Plus, Beeville residents are wanting to know what the city is planning to help with the water crisis, when a new water well is expected to be installed. And with holiday travel about to get underway, TxDOT is launching their annual Click It or Ticket campaign. The reminders you need to know before hitting the road. Good morning, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for this KRIS 6 Sunrise on your Tuesday. I'm Michelle Hoffman. Brian will be in later this evening, but we did hear plenty of thunder in the overnight hours. So we want to take a look at this right here. Mia shared this video with us, and she says there was some impressive lightning, thunder, and lots of rain over Oso Bay just before 4 o'clock this morning. And don't forget, folks, you can share your photos and videos with us. All you have to do is join our Weather Watchers Facebook group. You might just see your photos in one of our newscasts too. Now let's turn it over to meteorologist Stephanie Lauber for a full look at your forecast.
Hey there, happy Tuesday. Here's what you need to know as we cruise through the rest of this week. It's Tuesday, and just like we dealt with on Monday, it is a damp and muggy day setting up for us here across the coastal bend, not to mention windy. We are still going to have gusty winds, drawing a lot of that humidity into our coastal bend neighborhoods as we head throughout your Tuesday and even into tonight. That's where we could be looking at some storms moving into the coastal bend, some of which could be severe. We're still watching the timing on that. It is in flux, but there is better agreement that we could be seeing some storms as we go from very late tonight and into very early Wednesday morning. So just keep that in mind. Stay weather aware. Keep it here with your KRIS 6 neighborhood weather experts. We'll keep you up to date on everything you need to know. And when it comes to the rest of the week, you've probably heard the buzz by now. We're looking at daily rain chances as we go from later tonight and into your hump day through the rest of this week and into the holiday weekend. So we will be monitoring because not every neighborhood will see all of the rain in one shot. We'll tell you what else we can expect ahead.
Stephanie, thank you so much. And I don't know about you guys, but I bumped into a lot of rain on the roadway, so we are going to take a look at our drive times right now. Looking good and green, as meteorologist Stephen Jones likes to say. Downtown to the island, approximately 22 minutes. Robstown to downtown, approximately 19 minutes. And Cal Allen to downtown, approximately 12 minutes over there. Now, folks, make sure you stay safe, you drive safe, especially if you head into that wet weather. So those early morning thunderstorms is causing power outages across the coastal bend. Let's take a look from AEP Texas website to see what's going on in your neighborhood. So in Nueces County, 3,300 customers are reporting outages. And we're going to go ahead and move the map to Aransas. 3,100 customers are also reporting outages in that area. Estimated restoration time is 10:30 a.m. San Patricio County, 2,200 customers reporting outages. 10:30 a.m. is the estimated restoration time. Folks, make sure you check in on your friends, your family, if you see that they're living in those areas, to make sure they're okay. So pretrial proceedings are expected during City Council today as part of an impeachment hearing of Mayor Paulette Guajardo. This comes following Monday's injunction hearing, and the process started following a removal petition. After 2 hours of arguments, presiding Judge George C. Hanks says he will make a ruling on the injunction as quick as he can. A former volunteer of Morelos Elementary is asking for modified conditions following a charge of possession of child pornography. Benjamin Milfeld's attorney asked for the modification so he can visit with his children. The judge said she would allow that only if the child's mother submits a letter saying she does not object to a visit.
I'm Gita Strayer. Beeville residents are asking tough questions as their water crisis deepens, and the city is in a stage 4 water emergency. So I went on a search for answers that many people in Beeville have been asking.
Residents want to know what city leaders are doing to fix the problem.
If you say you're going to do it, okay, let's see it. Let's show us the plans, show us the people you hired to make this a thing.
The city is spending $36 million on a 3-well system. Assistant City Manager Daniel Dorgan says a disaster declaration is speeding up the process. All 3 wells are expected to come online in late May. The city says this investment will help secure Beeville's water future for decades to come.
The Long Island Railroad strike is ending after the MTA and unions reached a new agreement. The agreement brings relief to nearly 250,000 riders who depend on the nation's largest commuter rail system. Since the agreement was made late last night, this morning's commute over there is still seeing some delays. Officials say trains are expected to begin returning service in phases. President Trump is dropping his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS over the leak of his tax returns as part of a settlement deal. The settlement deal calls for a formal apology for President Trump and the establishment of the Anti-Weaponization Fund. The DOJ says the 5-member commission overseeing the payments from the funds will be appointed by the Attorney General. The Trump administration has removed key regulations against so-called forever chemicals, or PFAs. The regulations were put in place to help protect drinking water from dangerous cancer-causing substances. On Monday, the EPA announced plans to rescind and restart regulations on 4 types of forever chemicals.
Because the previous administration didn't follow the procedural and substantive step-by-step requirements of the Safe Drinking Water Act when it regulated them, that rule has been extremely vulnerable legally and already subject to ongoing litigation.
In addition to the new regulations, drinking water systems can now petition for an extra 2 years to comply. The new extension deadline is 2031. The Trump administration is expanding its prescription website. The government announced it will add more than 600 generic drugs to the Trump Rx site, and this will allow potential users to do some comparison shopping. President Donald Trump said the site will provide American consumers with new options, more savings, and price transparency.
Thrilled to announce that we're increasing the number of drugs available on Trump Rx by nearly 7 times, adding over 600 affordable generics to the website, working with industry partners.
Users can see if the Trump Rx site offers lower costs than their local pharmacies or other online sites like Amazon Pharmacy. TxDOT's Click It or Ticket campaign is officially underway this morning. The agency says seatbelts reduce the risk of death in a crash by 45%. Last year, 965 people in Texas died in crashes while unbuckled. Texas law requires all drivers and passengers to wear a seatbelt. A violation can lead to fines and court costs of up to $200. The campaign runs through May 31st.
I'm Jacob Daniels on the South Side, and I've done street stories in the past, but one street update that keeps getting requested is Timbergate Drive.
A major road project on the South Side is almost finished after more than a year of construction. People living along Timbergate Drive have dealt with detours and dust for months. The city of Corpus Christi says the work is now 95% complete, but the long construction process created new problems for nearby neighborhoods. One resident says the detour traffic took a toll on surrounding streets.
Now all the cars are having to take the neighborhood routes instead of this main street here, and now there's potholes on all the streets that there weren't on before.
Crews still need to finish striping and adding signs to Timbergate Drive, and the city expects to wrap up the entire project by mid-July.
It's 6:08 your Tuesday morning, folks, and we're just getting started. Still ahead, a delay in airstrikes on Iran and what this now means for negotiations as conflict continues in the Middle East. Three people are dead after a shooting at a San Diego mosque on Monday. Police say 2 suspects are also dead from what appears to be self-inflicted gunshot wounds. While the investigation into a possible motive is ongoing, officials say they're considering the shooting a hate crime.
Happy Tuesday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Stephanie Lauber, and here's what you can expect today. You probably don't need to be a meteorologist to know that it is going to be humid, warm, and windy again on this Tuesday. But here's what to expect as we cruise through the first half of the day. Temperatures are going to be on the rise. Notice it's not very cool right now. We don't get much relief during the overnight period. That's something you don't hear me say normally until we get thoroughly into summer, but May is giving us a little bit of a test run. We start out with a bunch of clouds, a bunch of humidity, and just a very big warm up as we get toward the lunch hour, where temperatures will already have gained about 8 to 10 degrees on us here. And factoring in that humidity, you can expect it to feel like the 90s around lunchtime. Now, the wind still coming from that warm and humid southeast wind direction, around 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusts closer to 30 miles per hour yet again. And into the afternoon, that's where we'll expect those temperatures to be feeling quite hot. We could see a few lower 90s. I think with the wind and enough humidity, depending on how soon these clouds break up, we could stay under 90 degrees. But either way, it's still going to feel like the 90s, and that's what we should prepare for. That's why we've been tracking the heat risk the past couple of days, and it's improved as we go through today. That's the good news. So we'll be looking at a moderate heat risk shown here in orange for at least half of the coastal bend, but inland neighborhoods, those who are in our southern neighborhoods, and even a few immediately on the water here could be dealing with a harder time staying cool in these conditions. A 3 out of 4 major heat risk shown in red. So that means if you work in an outdoor industry, you have any plans to be outside, make sure you're taking those breaks in the air conditioning to cool off. Stephanie, I work in construction. I don't have an inside to cool off. You have a work truck, sit in there for a second, run the AC, make sure that your body has a way to stay cool in these very, very muggy conditions. We'll put it to good use as we go through the next couple of days. We have daily rain chances, especially as we head on into the holiday weekend, but stay weather aware, because tonight, from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we will be tracking the potential for severe thunderstorms. And this is not going to be a rain event like what we saw the past couple of rounds. This is a scenario where there's a different setup. So each of the next couple of days will offer certain neighborhoods more of the rainfall, but tonight is when we're concerned about the storms. We'll have the ingredients in place: a change in wind direction with height, that's shear, lift, it's humid, that helps keep the air rising, which makes things unstable too. And again, that humidity is the last ingredient too. Plenty of moisture. So we hope for the rainfall, hope we can avoid the storms. Keep it here with the Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Experts.
Stephanie, thank you so much. President Trump is delaying airstrikes on Iran this morning. This comes after a planned day for action. Scripps News Group Washington chief correspondent Joe St. George joins us now this morning. Good morning, Joe. So can you remind us, how many delays is this now, and how long is the Trump willing to wait?
Well, if you're skeptical, there's a reason to be. I went back and looked nearly half dozen times in the last several weeks. The president has threatened imminent strikes on Iran and then pulled back, seemingly at the last moment, in order to allow for diplomacy. And that is precisely what we have again here. So what a difference in 24 hours. 24 hours ago, the story was, well, our strike's imminent. The president was sharing AI-generated images of him pushing red buttons and blowing up Iranian aircraft. Now it's a story of optimism, with the president believing that there is some sort of deal that is possible. All of this coming about, according to the president, after conversations with Middle Eastern countries, leaders in Middle Eastern countries, feeling that real concessions are on the verge of happening. Can you just give us a little more time? That was essentially the ask by a number of Middle Eastern leaders. How much time? Well, again, we're asking that question. It seems as though the runway's around 2 to 3 days. So by the end of this week, we'll be asking that familiar question once more. Where I'm at on Capitol Hill, there are a number of Republicans who believe that it would be appropriate for limited strikes on Iran. But there's also the question of what exactly can be struck in a limited fashion. After all, the U.S. military bombed heavily Iran for 40 days or so, and a lot of targets were taken out. So what is left that is quick and easy? It is a legitimate question being asked. As we often remind people, the reason gas prices are high, the Strait of Hormuz, 1/5 of the world's oil typically flows through it. That's the easiest part of the negotiations, getting that back up and running. The hardest part, what do you do with Iran's nuclear ambitions? President Trump wants to eliminate Iran's ability to have a nuclear weapon. Nuclear ambitions have been a hallmark of the Iranian regime going back a decade. So back to waiting, but for the moment, it doesn't look as though any strikes in Iran are taking place today.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for the update. We'll talk to you again soon. Well, folks, it's 6:17, your Tuesday morning now. A jury delivers a key win for OpenAI in its lawsuit with Elon Musk over whether the company abandoned its original mission. Coming up, what the verdict means for Musk's claims and the future of the AI giant.
A major legal fight between Elon Musk and OpenAI has now come to an end in federal court, with the jury siding with OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman. The case centered on Musk's claims that OpenAI abandoned its founding nonprofit mission and whether that shift violated agreements from when the company was created. After weeks of testimony, but just 2 hours of deliberation, the 9-person jury found Musk's claims were filed too late under the statute of limitation. OpenAI's legal team reacted immediately following the verdict.
The finding of the jury confirms that what this lawsuit was a hypocritical attempt to sabotage a competitor and to overcome a long history of very bad predictions about what OpenAI has been and will become.
Musk had argued he helped launch the company back in 2015 with roughly $38 million in early funding, under the understanding that it would remain a nonprofit focused on safely developing artificial intelligence for the public good. But OpenAI countered in court that there was no binding agreement requiring it was to stay a nonprofit forever, and that Musk was aware of the company's shift towards a more commercial structure years before he even filed suit. And so this dispute became one of Silicon Valley's most closely watched trials, with Musk seeking more than $100 billion in damages, along with court orders that would have reversed parts of OpenAI's restructuring and removed Sam Altman from leadership. OpenAI's attorneys argued that the lawsuit was an attempt to rewrite the company's founding story, while Musk's legal team called it a, quote, betrayal of the original mission. It remains to be seen if Musk's team will appeal, and the decision also comes as OpenAI continues its rapid expansion in the AI industry and as Musk pushes forward with his own competing artificial intelligence company, xAI. Maura Barrett, Scripps News Group, Denver.
It's now 6:22, folks. Managing your money can be stressful and overwhelming, right? But if you're looking for advice with the help of AI, there are some risks you need to know.
Now, say hello to your neighbors. This is your Chris 6 News Sunrise Shoutouts.
Good morning, Chris 6 Sunrise team. We're the Gregory Portland 5 Tech cheerleaders, and we want to wish you a good morning and a great day. Let's go, Cats! Let's go, GB!
Oh yeah, go Wildcats. Thank you so much, ladies, for this shout out video. We hope you all have a wonderful day. And folks, if you want to send us your own shout out video, all you have to do is scan the QR code on your screen or go to our website, christv.com. Okay, so listen up. Yesterday, we told you about using multiple accounts to organize your money. This is with the High Five banking method, where you have expenses for bills, entertainment, vacations, holiday shopping, and emergencies. But some consumers are instead turning to AI for their money management. But using AI for that purpose also comes with some risk. Experts with NerdWallet say AI can be great for budgets and savings and provide a step-by-step suggestion for achieving goals. But before uploading financial documents or personal information into an AI system, make sure you check privacy and data retention policies and redact bank account numbers and other sensitive information. Money advisors say you should still be skeptical.
Really do have to do some level of sort of due diligence. It has very serious consequences. You want to make sure the AI gets it right.
Experts urge you to remember AI is not a financial cure-all. It's a machine responding to what information you do and don't provide. A recent survey finds singles are not finding dating to be financially worth it. BMO Bank data suggests singles spend about $190 on a date, and that's $21 more than last year. Certified dating coach Stevie Bowen says she's noticing singles ditching dating apps and are instead opting to connect in person. They're using local events like classes for cooking, pottery, and even speed dating.
There's so many different new ways and creative ways people are trying to meet people and meet like-minded people.
These single events can cost between $120 and $160, but it goes a lot further because you're meeting more people. If you do decide to go to dinner, Bowen recommends talking about how you're going to pay or split the bill before the date so you avoid any awkwardness when the check does come. And it is now 6:27 your Tuesday morning. A Rockport business is expanding despite rising costs. How they're adjusting to accommodate sky-high fuel prices. As the investigation continues into the death of two motorcycle riders 2 years ago, a mother is raising questions. A look at the interview with the mother of Roman Perez. Plus, fuel prices are impacting the economy all the way down to local businesses. How Vintage Air Tours is making adjustments to continue offering rides. And a little later, a year into road construction, and residents on the south side are still feeling the disruption. How far the city says the project has come. Good morning, folks. Welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise. Thank you so much for starting your day with us. I'm Michelle Hoffman. Brian Hoffman will be in later this evening. And you know what? That meant I had to drive myself. And I also heard a bunch of thunder in the overnight hours. We had some wild weather overnight into the early morning hours. The sky putting on a light show over the coastal bend. And here's a look at some video sent in by our viewers over on the Coastal Bend Weather Watchers Facebook group. First up, Chad shows us some rain and lightning outside his home on the south side. Now, folks, don't forget to share your own photos and videos with us. All you have to do is join our Weather Watchers Facebook group, and you might just see one of your photos in one of our newscasts. Now let's turn things over to meteorologist Stephanie Lauber for a full look at our forecast.
Hey there, happy Tuesday. Here's what you need to know as we cruise through the rest of this week. It's Tuesday, and just like we dealt with on Monday, it is a damp and muggy day setting up for us here across the coastal bend, not to mention windy. We are still going to have gusty winds, drawing a lot of that humidity into our coastal bend neighborhoods as we head throughout your Tuesday and even into tonight. That's where we could be looking at some storms moving into the coastal bend, some of which could be severe. We're still watching the timing on that. It is in flux, but there is better agreement that we could be seeing some storms as we go from very late tonight and into very early Wednesday morning. So just keep that in mind. Stay weather aware. Keep it here with your Chris 6 neighborhood weather experts. We'll keep you up to date on everything you need to know. And when it comes to the rest of the week, you've probably heard the buzz by now. We're looking at daily rain chances as we go from later tonight and into your hump day through the rest of this week and into the holiday weekend. So we will be monitoring because not every neighborhood will see all of the rain in one shot. We'll tell you what else we can expect ahead.
Stephanie, thank you so much. And you know, let's keep that weather in mind, especially if you're preparing to hit the roadways this morning. This is a look at your drive times right now. Downtown to the island, good and green, 22 minutes. But Robstown to downtown, looking yellow over there, it's going to be approximately 19 minutes. And then we have Cal Allen to downtown, approximately 12 minutes to get through there. And you know, those early morning thunderstorms, they're causing power outages across the coastal bend. So let's take a look from AEP Texas website. Right now in Nueces County, it looks like there were 1,300 customers now reporting power outages. That's actually an improvement from earlier today. The estimated restoration time is about 12:30 in the afternoon. Aransas County, we're looking at 3,100 customers reporting power outages over there. 11 a.m. is the estimated restoration time. In San Patricio County, 2,200 customers reporting power outages in that area, and it looks like they might get their power restored around noon. It was a death that shook the biker community. Roman and Rosie Perez were riding down Airline Road when they were struck by a drunk driver in May of 2024. Now, almost 2 years later, that drunk driver is now free. Anchor Clara Benitez Cortez has had an exclusive interview with the woman fighting for both Roman and Rosie, Roman's mother, Letty Perez. Perez tells us she asked the Nueces County District Attorney, Jamie Granberry, why Carmen Guevara, the woman who killed her son and his girlfriend, was released.
Well, her case should have began May 4th. That was her trial date. And I received a phone call from the DA telling me that due to lack of funds, they could not do a reconstruction accident, and they were going to release the lady, release her pending investigation. but we have no funds. So, pending investigations, how?
Perez tells us Guevara's defense team recreated the scene and says that's part of the reason they released her. The DEA tells us the investigation is still pending, but once the case is closed, his office will be releasing the files related to the case. Catch the full story tonight on Chris 6 News at 6. So with fuel prices high and tensions with Iran shaking global markets, we've seen major airlines cutting routes, raising fares, and one carrier even shutting down. So in a world where aviation feels unstable, I spoke with one family-owned business in Rockport that's not just surviving, but expanding.
Now, it's been a while since you and I have had a little sit-down chat. How are things going with the business?
Oh, things are going great, Michelle.
And you know what's so great? Jeremy Bushnell, owner of Vintage Air Tours, tells me they just celebrated the grand opening of their new office space in Rockport last week.
If you're driving down the side of the highway next to the Rockport Airfield, you'll see a big golf ball on the side of the road. Everybody asks, what the heck is this thing? That's us.
With jet fuel prices and all that skyrocketing, apparently, how has that impacted your business, and how are you able to find so much success right now?
So day to day is a very different animal, especially when we're talking fuel prices, right? That's one of our largest expenses throughout the year. So yeah, fuel goes up. We're going to do the best we can to not have to increase prices. You know, it's a complex global economy. So we're here to improvise, adapt, and overcome. But we're going to have fun while we do it.
It is pretty fun too. Vintage Air Tours actually offers rides on historic aircraft, but its mission goes beyond tourism. The company also supports veterans in aviation education. Just last month, we showed you how they provided a free ride for a 101-year-old veteran on a World War II aircraft for his birthday. They're also partnering with a local nonprofit to provide scholarships for kids interested in aviation. It is now 6:36, your Tuesday morning. Thank you so much for joining with us, folks. Still waking up here, but you know, Corpus Christi City Council is expected to make a major vote today. The resolution expected to solidify a level 1 water emergency plan. Less than a day following the injunction hearing, the next step for the potential removal of Corpus Christi Mayor Paulette Guajardo, what we can expect from City Council later today. Plus, road work is about 95% complete on Timbergate, but after nearly a year of construction, it's still causing some concerns for nearby residents. And with holiday travel about to get underway, TxDOT is launching their annual Click It or Ticket campaign, the reminders you need to know before hitting the road.
Now, 20 minutes of nonstop news, sponsored by Ewald Kubota.
Early morning thunderstorms is causing power outages across the coastal bend, so we're going to take a look at AEP Texas website right now. Over in Nueces County, it looks like 1,300 customers are reporting some power outages. That's actually an improvement from earlier around 5 a.m. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Aransas County, 3,100 customers reporting power outages in that area, and it's about the same as last time we checked too. San Patricio County, 2,200 customers reporting power outages in that area. So City Council is expected to take a final vote on the Level 1 water emergency plan today, and this includes no citations and increased baseline of 8,000 gallons a month. In a separate vote, the City Council will consider a resolution that would authorize the city manager to initiate surcharges during a Level 1 water emergency. For residential customers, the surcharge would be $4 for every 1,000 gallons over their monthly allotment. Pretrial proceedings are expected during City Council today as part of an impeachment hearing of Mayor Paulette Guajardo. This comes as citizens petition for her removal, and Neighborhood News reporter Drew Bishop has a recap of Monday's injunction hearing.
In Monday's injunction hearing, there were two sides, the mayor, which is the plaintiff, and the city, which is the defendant. The plaintiff's argument for an injunction is primarily based on two things: the witnesses who would be called to testify in an impeachment hearing and the city charter. For starters, the mayor's legal team argues that the 2024 vote on the controversial hotel tax incentives included 4 current city council members who voted yes. The hotel tax incentives vote is important because it led in part to the removal petition. The 4 council members are Roland Barrera, Gil Hernandez, Sylvia Campos, and Everett Roy. Those council members are not only potential witnesses in an impeachment hearing, but also the judge and jury for that hearing. The mayor's attorneys argue that's a violation of due process. The defense counters that there shouldn't even be an injunction because procedures and witness lists haven't been established. That should happen at Tuesday's council meeting. The city also argues that city council has nothing to do with starting the mayor removal process, that it started from a petition signed by 5 citizens. The plaintiff's second point for an injunction references the city charter. They say that Section 11 of the charter allows for this removal process for a member of city council, that the charter does not explicitly say this can be applied to the mayor. The city's legal team countered by saying the mayor is part of the city council, and so the charter's removal process also applies to her. After 2 hours of arguments, Judge George C. Hanks, who is presiding over the case, said he will make a ruling on the injunction, quote, as quick as he can.
And that was Drew Bishop reporting. Judge Hanks says his ruling on the injunction is unlikely to happen before City Council's meeting today, where they will hold pretrial proceedings. A former volunteer of Morelos Elementary is asking for modified conditions following a charge of possession of child pornography. Benjamin Milfeld's attorney asked for the modification so he can visit with his children. The judge said she would allow that only if the child's mother submits a letter saying she doesn't object to a visit. A key test today for President Trump as he seeks to unseat congressional Republicans. His biggest target, Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie. He's on the ballot today in what is now the most expensive House primary in history. The president posted a flurry of messages against Massie. Massie says he votes with Republicans 90% of the time.
Happy Tuesday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Stephanie Lauber, and here's what you can expect today. You probably don't need to be a meteorologist to know that it is going to be humid, warm, and windy again on this Tuesday. But here's what to expect as we cruise through the first half of the day. Temperatures are going to be on the rise. Notice it's not very cool right now. We don't get much relief during the overnight period. That's something you don't hear me say normally until we get thoroughly into summer, but May is giving us a little bit of a test run. We start out with a bunch of clouds, a bunch of humidity, and just a very big warm up as we get toward the lunch hour, where temperatures will already have gained about 8 to 10 degrees on us here. And factoring in that humidity, you can expect it to feel like the 90s around lunchtime. Now, the wind still coming from that warm and humid southeast wind direction, around 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusts closer to 30 miles per hour yet again. And into the afternoon, that's where we'll expect those temperatures to be feeling quite hot. We could see a few lower 90s. I think with the wind and enough humidity, depending on how soon these clouds break up, we could stay under 90 degrees. But either way, it's still going to feel like the 90s, and that's what we should prepare for. That's why we've been tracking the heat risk the past couple of days, and it's improved as we go through today. That's the good news. So we'll be looking at a moderate heat risk shown here in orange for at least half of the coastal bend, but inland neighborhoods, those who are in our southern neighborhoods, and even a few immediately on the water here could be dealing with a harder time staying cool in these conditions. A 3 out of 4 major heat risk shown in red. So that means if you work in an outdoor industry, you have any plans to be outside, make sure you're taking those breaks in the air conditioning to cool off. Stephanie, I work in construction. I don't have an inside to cool off. You have a work truck, sit in there for a second, run the AC, make sure that your body has a way to stay cool in these very, very muggy conditions. We'll put it to good use as we go through the next couple of days. We have daily rain chances, especially as we head on into the holiday weekend, but stay weather aware because tonight, from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we will be tracking the potential for severe thunderstorms. And this is not going to be a rain event like what we saw the past couple of rounds. This is a scenario where there's a different setup. So each of the next couple of days will offer certain neighborhoods more of the rainfall, but tonight is when we're concerned about the storms. We'll have the ingredients in place: a change in wind direction with height, that's shear, lift, it's humid, that helps keep the air rising, which makes things unstable too. And again, that humidity is the last ingredient too. Plenty of moisture. So we hope for the rainfall, hope we can avoid the storms. Keep it here with the Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Experts.
Alrighty, Stephanie, thank you so much. As students get ready for the 2026 Scripps National Spelling Bee, we'll have a look at who competed here at home. 82 local students competed for the championship. The Coastal Bend Regional Spelling Bee will air right here on Chris 6 Saturday evening at 7. A Corpus Christi bus driver is expected to find out the results of his performance at the Salt Lake City International Bus Rodeo. Oscar Zamora is one of 160 competitors, and drivers had to drive 20 miles per hour going through barrels without hitting them. Then they had to come to a stop without hitting an orange cone. So if you want to avoid costly fines, make sure you buckle up that seatbelt before hitting the road. TxDOT has launched its Click It or Ticket campaign. The agency says seatbelts reduce the risk of death in a crash by 45%. Last year, 965 people in Texas died in crashes while unbuckled. Priscilla Wolf lost her 19-year-old son, Cameron, in 2020 during a crash after he didn't wear a seatbelt.
I have to think about the things that, the milestones that come up. I'll never dance at Cameron's wedding. I'll never see him have a child. There's so many things that I'll miss out on. So please don't put this on your parents. Just wear your seatbelt.
Texas law requires all drivers and passengers to wear seatbelts. A violation can lead to fines and court costs of up to $200. The campaign runs through May 31st.
I'm Jada Strayer. Beeville residents are asking tough questions as their water crisis deepens. And the city is in a stage 4 water emergency. So I went on a search for answers that many people in Beeville have been asking.
Hairstylist Leah Bellamy says the crisis affects her job and daily life, and she wants to know what city leaders are actually doing about it.
If you say you're going to do it, okay, let's see it. Let's show us the plans, show us the people you hired to make this a thing.
So I followed up with the city and asked Assistant City Manager Daniel Dorgan what they're doing. Beeville is spending $36 million on a 3-well system, refurbishing 2 existing 700-foot wells in the Evangeline Aquifer and drilling a new 1,800-foot well in the Jasper Aquifer.
We have to diversify our water portfolio, and so, unfortunately, surface water is not, it's not a reliable long-term solution to water.
The refurbished wells will produce about 1 million gallons per day each, while the new deep well will pump 2 to 2.5 million gallons daily. The city has applied for state grants and loans to help fund the $36 million project, and Dorgan says having a disaster declaration in place helps speed things up.
It helps us with, expediting certain processes and being able to procure items in a quicker manner.
Despite the urgency of the situation, Dorgan says residents don't need to panic.
I don't think there's any cause for concern. Just, again, making sure that you can serve water to the best of their ability as well.
All 3 wells come online in May. The city says this investment will help secure Beeville's water future for decades to come. Reporting from Beeville, I'm Jada Strayer, Chris 6 News.
Jada, thank you so much. Some shoppers, as you may know, are seeing an increase at the grocery store, and that's causing a ripple effect into coffee shops. Coffee is one of those things hard to give up, even as the government data shows the price has jumped over 18% in a year. A coffee shop owner says in his 10 years of enduring rough times with shortages in pricing, one concern is the on and off tariffs.
Depending on the time of year, right now it's day to day. This morning I was just on the phone with my importer trying to figure out if Brazil had landed yet. If not, I got to go with Nicaragua.
The coffee comes from countries along the equator, and lately a big burlap bag of beans cost as much as $900. In the last couple of years, it increased to 200%. Residents can voice their input on the redesign of the Michael J. Ellis Island seawall. A public meeting is set to take place at the Wyndham Resort on Windward Drive. Project leaders will share the history of the seawall and explain the new plans. The meeting is set to begin at 5:30 tomorrow evening. And student athletes at Rockport Fulton ISD are getting new turf on their baseball and softball fields. The project is happening thanks to a $2 million gift from Tim and Debbie Chapman. School leaders say the new turf will serve players for years to come.
This is going to be a first-class field, first-class project, and kids want to be a part of that.
The facilities will be named Tim Chapman Field and Debbie Chapman. A Corpus Christi family is waking up in a new home this morning thanks to Habitat for Humanity. Amber Amador and her family are the recipients of the organization's first home in 5 years. Amador put in hours of her own hard work on her days off to help build the house too. And she says seeing the finished product makes every sacrifice worth it.
This is just something that will mean a lot to you. To be able to work for it, to put the sweat equity hours, to build it, to pick out colors of the house that you want, and to see it in the end, it's all worth it.
A local initiative called Circles of the Coastal Bend helped Amador qualify for the home. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals takes place tomorrow, following last night's Game 1. Spurs superstar Wemby scored 41 points and grabbed 24 rebounds with 3 assists. The Spurs mounted lead late in the second overtime to take the win. The game between the San Antonio Spurs and the OKC Thunder went to a double overtime with a final score of 122-115. And Game 2 of the Western Conference Final will take place right here on Chris 6 at 7:30 tomorrow night.
I'm Jacob Daniels on the South Side, and I've done street stories in the past, but one street update that keeps getting requested is Timbergate Drive.
We've reported on Timbergate Drive for more than a year, and our last story told the tale of a fixed road within a year's time, which meant residents along Timbergate Drive have been living with the construction, detours, and disruption.
So yes, Timbergate all the way down to Staples from here. I mean, it's quite a stretch of a road and completely full of potholes at all times. And a little bit of rain would wash out whatever fixes they would do.
Tara Espanga has lived on the street for 3 years. She's even reported the potholes to the city herself. But the construction came with its own frustrations.
It was just so bad all the time. I was like, I'll wait till they're done and start, going back to the car wash. It was just completely covered. Every morning when I get up to take my son to school, I have to windshield wiper all the dust off from the work they were doing.
And the impact hasn't just been felt on Timbergate. Neighboring streets have felt it too. Constant detours throughout the Southside neighborhood are causing more problems.
Now all the cars are having to take the neighborhood routes instead of this main street here, and now there's potholes on all the streets that there weren't on before.
But there is good news. Take a look at what the street looked like before. Now compare that to where things stand today. And to add to all that good news, the city of Corpus Christi told me the project is now 95% complete, with just striping and signalage still to finish, and the city says it's on track to wrap up by mid-July.
While Timbergate is on its way to being completed, I'll keep an eye on other streets still waiting their turn and continue to listen to Southside viewers about what streets need my coverage next. Reporting on Southside, Jacob Daniels, Chris 6 News.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
Pretrial proceedings are expected during City Council today as part of an impeachment hearing of Mayor Paulette Guajardo. Presiding Judge George C. Hanks says he will make a ruling on the injunction as quick as he can. TxDOT launched their Click It or Ticket campaign. It requires all drivers and passengers to wear a seatbelt. Violations can lead to fines and court costs of up to $200. The Trump administration is expanding its prescription website. More than 600 generic drugs are expected to be added. This is expected to allow comparison shopping for potential users. 3 people were killed after a San Diego mosque shooting. An investigation into a motive is ongoing. Officials say they're considering the shooting a hate crime. The man accused of killing Charlie Kirk is expected in court today. Tyler Robinson's attorneys are expected to argue to have portions of his preliminary hearing sealed. Robinson faces numerous charges, including aggravated murder. Russian President Vladimir Putin is heading to China today to meet with Xi Jinping. The two will only meet for one day. They're expected to discuss numerous areas of bilateral relations. And it's time to look at the roadways and your drive times one last time before you head out at the door. And looking at that downtown to the island commute, it's approximately 22 minutes to get there. Robstown to downtown, 19 minutes. You see the yellow on your screen right there. And Cal Allen to downtown, Good and Green with a 12-minute drive time.
Hey there, good morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Stephanie Lover. Let's get a look at the 7-day forecast because we're in a transition today as we move from the ick, that air you can wear, into a wetter rain period as we go through the rest of this week and into the Memorial Day weekend as well. So I've already heard from some neighbors on social media. We've got graduations and whatnot to attend to on Friday and Saturday. Here's what we know so far. Today, not expecting a whole lot in the way of rain, but very humid. Tonight, stay weather aware. There could be severe weather heading into Wednesday morning, and we'll have daily rain chances the rest of the week.
Good to know, Steph. Thank you so much. So video from a Japanese zoo shows a person jumping into an enclosure full of monkeys while wearing a bizarre costume with a big, goofy, smiling head. Officials were not smiling, though, and say 2 Americans who denied the allegations were arrested following the stunt, which happened to take place in the enclosure housing the internet-famous Punch the Monkey. Now, let's go ahead and take one last look at those power outages across the coastal bend before you go, because those thunderstorms were causing major outages. In Nueces County, we have about 1,500 customers reporting power outages in that area. And we'll go ahead and take a look at Aransas County as well. 3,100 customers reporting power outages in that area as well. Over in San Patricio County, we're looking at 1,800 customers reporting those outages. So I think a good word for today is grace, right? Make sure you give yourself some grace, give your coworkers, your friends some grace, because it's kind of a weird start to the day with the thunderstorms. And you might want to check in on your friends, your neighbors too. Make sure they're okay, especially with those power outages, and we want to try to get them to work or school on time as well. And that's all the time we have right now, folks. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to see you later tonight. We'll have more news from your neighborhood. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow bright and early on Chris 6 Sunrise. Have a good one.